Hello, everybody. It's Kristina Wolf here, and this is another episode of Energy Mastery. And today we have with us Natasha Lee. Can you say hello to our listeners, Natasha, and tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Hi, so my name is Natasha Lee. I'm a spiritual midwife, medicine woman, healer, and self-care expert.
That sounds so beautiful. I've never heard the term spiritual midwife. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so what I do is I help women give birth to their true and authentic selves through the art and practice of self-love, beauty, and sacred self-care.
That's beautiful. I know me and you talked a little bit beforehand about the difference between pampering and actual self-care. Do you want to kind of, because I know a lot of women get confused about self-care might be, oh, let me just go get a pedicure or whatever. But you have a little different philosophy about that.
Yeah, so what I want to be really clear about is when I talk about self-care is that it's definitely not grooming. It's not going to get your hair and nails done. That's grooming. And self-care is really soul care. It goes deeper than the outside, right? It's a lot of inner work done for self-care. And when we take the time to really focus on ourselves from the inside out, then therein lies the transformation.
Yes. And I think that a lot of women in particular, that idea is so elusive to them. Like, how do I do that? Like, they have no idea like how to take care of themselves. And it's
Yeah.
important. So how do you help your clients learn or discover things that feel like self-care to them?
So basically, when I work with clients, there's a group of assessments that I do, anywhere from 1 to 5 assessments, to kind of let me know where they are and what their needs are. And this is soul work for me. And let me just tell you a little bit about how I came to practice self-care and teach self-care. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. So I have 4 sons, and my sons are grown now. But when they were really small, 3, 5, 7, and 10, my 5-year-old was diagnosed with cancer, a brain tumor and spinal cancer. And it was during one chemo visit with him that I had completely passed out, and I woke up in the hospital bed next to him. So
Wow.
that was, yeah, that was really crazy. But when I came to, I decided that something had to change, like not now, but like right now. And it really wasn't that one big event that led to this fallout, if you will. It was an accumulation of all the little things that go undone that we as women sweep under the rug. Oh, I'll take care of that doctor's appointment later. I'll start my diet next week, or, whatever it is, right? And so it was just an accumulation of things that I had let go and done that led to this fallout. And it was the lack of self-care um, that led to that. And so from that moment to this, self-care has been my life work. And I like to share that with as many women as possible, because as women, everybody plugs into us. Everybody, our husbands, mates, children, if we have them, girlfriends, aging parents. And at the end of the day, everybody pulls out, unplugs, and leaves us drained with no energy to care for ourselves. And so what I really do is to teach women how to put themselves first and take care of themselves first, so that they're able to serve their family, serve their community, and serve the tribe that they've been called to serve.
Mm-hmm. And to add to that, like I can speak from my own experience. Maybe you have all these wonderful gifts to give, but you maybe can't get to that point because you're so drained and you have no idea how to fill up. So you're
Yeah.
battling that low energy instead of living out your mission. And so how
Right.
do you teach your ladies to support themselves? Because for me, when you're saying we're always kind of the last to make ourselves priority, it's almost like, well, the people who feel like they don't have time to take care of themselves are the
Mhm.
ones who really need to make the time.
Exactly, exactly. And I like to work with women in business, particularly because usually it's the women in business that have this huge burnout because they're trying to take care of a family and run their business, which leads to burnout really quick. And one of the ways that I, work with them is building healthy boundaries, having those boundaries in place to so that they can have the energy that they need to grow their business, because 9 times out of 10 it's not the lack of desire that'll keep them stuck or not have them producing. It's the lack of energy that will have them stuck in a space. And so just creating some healthy boundaries, and oftentimes saying no is saying yes to yourself. So being comfortable with saying no to people when it's going to be to your highest good.
Yeah, and so many women are uncomfortable with saying no. They're just like, but they're my kids. I can't say, I'm not giving you a bath tonight. Somebody else is going to have to do it. That's
Yeah, yeah.
how do you find that your clients make that transition from going from unable to say no to
Mhm.
now having really good, strong boundaries?
Well, it's a process. And by doing some soul work, which leads to the point where they can kind of start fresh. And that's by, really instilling in them that they are worthy, one, and that they are enough. They're already perfect, whole, and complete. They don't need to make an excuse for what didn't happen. They're just already perfect, whole, and complete. And so to have that understanding and to really get that embedded down in their heart and soul, and to lead, to let that be their come from, to lead with that they're already perfect, whole, and complete. And to not feel guilty. I do work with women around the guilt, because a lot of women, like you said, feel guilty about, not giving the kid the bath or whatever it is. And being a mom of 4 boys and a wife, it was just so important to me. That's how I judged if I was being a good mom. If there were 3 hot meals on the table, and they weren't like microwavable meals, they were full, healthy cooked meals, and doing the laundry, the whole list, right, of what we have to do. But my process was difficult, but well worth it. I was very particular how I had, the laundry, the towels had to be folded corner to corner and just right. But I had to give that up in order to get some help from, i.e., the kids or the husband, to get some things done to remove them off of my plate. So, being comfortable with it not looking like you're used to things looking, just as long as things get done.
So it's sort of getting okay with the anxiety of imperfection, because then
That's it.
you replace that perfectionism with the space for all these other
Right.
things, like relaxing. And like me in particular, I would be like, I can't relax. There's laundry to fold. There's things,
Right.
you know,
Right.
and now if you have a supportive partner, you got to make the space to allow them to help you.
Right.
Just letting somebody else do it is like, I don't feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Like you're saying, I'm not cooking 3 meals a day. Oh, maybe they got sandwiches for one of the meals. That's just horrible.
Right. Right. And also what I wanted to say was, how we take care of our family, or even how we take care of ourselves, is generational. It's what we've been taught by our mothers and our grandmothers. And so they come from an era where they did every single thing, right? The husband worked, but they did everything else, right? So that was handed down to us, and that's our guidebook. That's what we have to go by of what it should look like. And just being comfortable with creating a blueprint that works for you, not according to what our moms taught us or our grandmothers, what they did. What is working for us today, right now?
Yeah, because our social dynamic now is a lot different.
Right.
So many more women working, not even outside the home, just are becoming a breadwinner. And entrepreneur work is oftentimes in the house.
Yes.
And if your partner isn't necessarily on board, they may look at your business as a hobby instead of
Exactly.
actual business. And that's when you're talking about boundary setting. To me, I think of that like, wait a minute, let's understand that this is a business that I'm working here. This is a part.
Well, yeah, that's key. And it's funny you should mention that, because we have a hard time. That's what I talk about when I say creating healthy boundaries around our self-care and around our business. Because here's the deal. What you said is very true for many of us. The partner or the spouse or whatever will feel like what we're doing is not really a business because we're doing our business from home.
Mm-hmm.
But do we really treat our business like a business, right? When we work from home, we'll do a little work, but we'll look at that pile of laundry over there in the corner and we'll get up and we'll fold the laundry, right? But if we were working 9 to 5 for someone else, we couldn't do that. So having clear boundaries around your business, even if you work from home, and that's one of the things that I work with my clients, treating your business like a business. So that means from 9 to 5, you don't take phone calls from the girlfriends or the husband or whoever. We respect our business, right? And sometimes that you may need to pack up and go to a coffee shop and work from there, just so that you're out of your element, right? Yeah. But practicing self-care, that means doing whatever it takes so that we get the job done, but we do it comfortably and we do it on terms that work for us. And that's going to be for our highest good.
Yeah, absolutely. Like right now I have a little boy knocking on my door. That's real life.
That's real. It's very real. And it's okay. And even though this is a professional recording, maybe sometimes let go of what it has to look like. Let him in.
Yeah.
Let him see mom working. Let him see what mom is doing, right? Mm-hmm. And don't have any guilt about, oh my God, this is professional. I shouldn't, just be comfortable with what is. The content is going to be just as great, right? So don't put the little boundaries around it.
I know. Well, and it's funny. I was just thinking, it popped into my head, like sometimes we have to be good with our boundaries with ourselves.
Yeah.
Like especially when we're talking about like the laundry, and I am one of those people, like I have to tell myself it's not time to do housework because like there's dishes in the sink or whatever. It's so distracting, and I'll want to stop and do that, or like tend to the little one or whatever, and then suddenly all the time that I set aside to do X, Y, or Z is taken up with busy work. So you're in the busy, but you're not productive, but you're not staying on task, and then that in and of itself kind of erodes your sense of self-efficiency or self-esteem or whatever. So what sort of exercises do you give your clients about helping them save energy or manage time?
That's my doorbell ringing. That's UPS.
Real life coming in, you know what I mean? But this is great.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it.
That's what it looks like. Little kids.
Right. So what I do is I'm very ritualistic and very ceremonious. And when working with my clients, I teach them how to put different rituals in place that's going to serve them. And that's going to help them with their self-care. So one of the rituals that I do in the morning is I do what's called my power hour. When I first wake up in the morning, I wake up in full gratitude, being in thanks. But the first thing I do for my power hour is 20 minutes of prayer and meditation, 20 minutes of journaling, and 20 minutes of stretching, yoga, or exercise. And so that's what I call my power hour. And that's how I start my day every morning. And creating little rituals throughout the day, taking a 5-minute aromatherapy break or a 5-minute meditation break or a 5-minute stretch break, whatever is going to serve us. At the end of the day, I look very forward to creating my private time in my bath. I take spiritual baths and, with aromatherapy oil and different herbs, and I light my candle and I'll have my glass of wine or my cup of tea. And that's also time to kind of decompress or, meditate, whatever needs to be done, but I take that quiet time for myself. So that's what I like to do. And I teach women to create different rituals that's going to work for them.
And is that, you say your morning hour, is that like non-negotiable for you? Like without
Non-negotiable. Non-negotiable.
nothing
And
interrupts that at all?
there are a few non-negotiables, and my peace is non-negotiable. My commitment is non-negotiable, and my private ritual time is non-negotiable. So
And
yeah,
and you had to work towards, like, it was a process to get to where you're just like,
definitely.
I'm
I'm
done.
not a morning person, but I that requires me to get up at 5 o'clock so that I have peaceful, quiet time where I'm not disturbed by anybody. So that's what I have to do. So I get up at 5 o'clock, and that's when I have my power hour. But the more I put that into practice, the more I look forward to getting up at 5 o'clock when no one is awake,
Mm.
and I have that dedicated quiet time.
And so it, if you fall off track, is there anything you find like pulls you out of alignment and you're suddenly not, oh, it's been 2-3 days now and I haven't done this? How do you get back on track, or show people how to like kind of get back in the saddle?
So we're always one choice away from where we need to be. Just make the choice to start again. That's it. No beat up, no guilt. Just make another choice.
And the habit, once you do it, it's like over and over again, build, practice makes perfect, basically.
Yes, that is it.
Yeah. So you have a morning ritual, you have an evening ritual. And you say a little, mini breaks throughout the day.
Yes.
Tell me, what are some of the common blocks that most of your clients end up coming up with?
Well, the fact that they're not enough, or that they're not worthy. For some reason, they feel guilty about taking the time. And really, it's just getting them to understand um, that without them, their little world, or their big world, I should say, wouldn't operate the same, and that they're an integral part of what it takes to operate their home, their business, their tribe. So just getting them to understand that they're enough. Regular blocks that even myself, experts, or whoever will run into is that we'll allow life to get in the way, right? But the thing about the practice is that when you put it into practice, you can easily make the choice to get back on track, and it doesn't take us long to get back on track when we fall off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, once you built up enough momentum and you've been in that habit for a while, then not doing it feels worse than doing it.
Right.
So, what if, like for me, I really struggled with the idea of, well, how do I fill myself up? What kind of things would you have me do to figure that out?
So, well, first you have to just figure out, what you're willing to do. All women, or all people, are not willing. So just getting to the first, figuring out if you're willing to do what's required to get you to the next level. And oftentimes that calls for practicing self-care at a deep level. And where I start with people, like I said, is doing the assessments, but getting them to understand the importance of self-care and what can happen with the lack of self-care. You don't want a real burnout like what I experienced, right?
Some sort of health
That's like
crisis.
major,
Yeah.
right? And what most women don't understand is that when we're not tending to ourselves at optimum levels, disease or dis-ease interrupts us, right? And so,
no mission, then
right.
you're tending
And
to health at that point.
that's not an interruption that you want, right? So I just teach women that they just have to put themselves first. If it's not for business, for health, or for your family, or for your children, let that be your motivation, right? Whatever is near and dear to your heart, let that be the motivation for you really caring for yourself at high levels.
That's really beautiful. What about women who don't have good role models as far as, like you talked about, it could be generational. In my family, my grandmother worked or my grandfather stayed at home, and then my mom was a single parent. And so
Mm-hmm.
I learned this martyrism early on. You know, I need to do everything. And my relationship with men was like, well, they're going to be irresponsible. And then so I was attracting those types of relationships into my life. So I had to do a lot of work around create, you know, who am I being so that I'm going to attract a partner that I can receive these things from them as well. So what sort of exercises do you give for women who are maybe stuck in that sort of I've been learning, I don't want to say negative patterns, but maybe things that aren't serving them, and how to reassess that, and where could they go? Um, maybe one of your workshops or something like that, a book. What would you recommend for those?
Well, I give weekend retreats. I do them all over the world, and I can come to a city near you if you'd like to host with a couple of friends. And I give weekend retreats, sacred self-care retreats, where I really teach women how to go deep, to figure out their answers, right? To figure out what it is that they need specifically. And I love doing the retreats because, one, for women, it creates a real sense of sisterhood and community, because oftentimes they're coming together with other women that they don't know, and they're creating a serious bond, but it's a safe space. So it gives you permission to take off the mask, or let down your hair, if you will, so that you can do some soul working and really get started. And whatever those limiting beliefs are, we address those and we move through them quickly so that you can get to your self-care.
And so for all the ladies and adventurous men out there who have never been to these types of retreats or don't even know that they're available, what sort of things do you go over in those types of settings?
So we do some exercises, some exchange exercises, some exercises and dyads, and even one-on-one work, and we do some written journaling work. We'll have a workbook where there's prompts in the workbook they'll kind of guide you to where your healthy spot is. But we really do some soul work. We get rid of those limiting beliefs, and we start there. And like I said, creating the foundation and the understanding that you are worthy and that you're already perfect, whole, and complete. You don't need to fix anything. Whatever your upbringing is, you're already perfect, whole, and complete. So just getting women to really understand that point and let that be their go, their come from. To lead with that.
Yeah.
If you that's a different paradigm, right? Because we were always pushing to get somewhere. We're always taking educational courses or mastery classes or workshops or retreats or whatever. But really, it's understanding that you're just enough.
And you already have everything you need. Basically.
You already have everything you need.
You're just excavating it. Yes, definitely. Well, thank you so much, Natasha, for everything. And I know I would love to hear more about what you do. So how can our listeners learn more about what you do?
Well, the best way to find me is on Facebook. Go to True Beauty Revealed, and you can leave us a private message there. And I'd love to communicate with anybody who's interested.
And you have a really generous free gift, right?
Yeah, we have an awesome ebook, and it's will help get you started on your self-care journey.
Right, because this is a process. And
yes.
The beauty of it is it's never going to end. It's going to be this.
It's life work. Yeah.
Yes, beautiful. Well, thank you so much for talking with us, and I'm sure our listeners learned so much.
Thank you.
And until later, bye for now.
Yes, thank you.
Take care.